trip so inspired, so ready, so motivated, so on fire to just hit the ground running when you get back and get your teams motivated so that on the next incentive, you're bringing even larger and larger groups with you. Are you all right with that? Is that okay if that's what we do? Okay, because I love what Ryan does. He gets to talk about the recognition, and it's so fun and it's so great, and I love that part too. But we know that behind every moment, every hug, every flower, every award are hours and hours of countless and tireless dedication, disappointments, successes, triumphs, all of the things that make up for that one glorious moment when your feet hit the stage. That there are months and years of hard work that got you to that place. So what I want to talk about today is the opportunity of direct selling. Most of you know I have spent my whole career in direct selling. I am as passionate as a person can be about ordinary people living an extraordinary life. The lives that we change, the lives that are transformed because of the work of your hands and the love in your heart is unsurpassed. There is nothing, there is no gig, there is no side hustle, there is nothing like it in the universe than the power of direct selling and what we do at lifeWave. There is nothing more powerful, and I am committed to it. You know I am committed to it. I consider myself a champion like you of our profession. We need to protect it. We need to hold it close. We need to hold it dear. We need to never stop caring and sharing. And so when we look at this time in history, though, this is a crazy time in direct selling. We are seeing the most tragic things happening. Companies being acquired by venture capitalists, by investment firms that are decimating companies with good people and good products, lovely people, like never before. We talk about it all the time. In over 100 years in direct selling, this is an unprecedented time in history to defend what we do. And we have people out there that would love to tear us down. Why? Because they want you to be ordinary. Rank and file, go to work, get a job, blah, 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 blah. They want you to. Because you know what it's like? It's like, how many of you have ever actually witnessed a crab pot in real life? A crab pot. Some of you? Okay, so I'm from the Pacific Northwest. So what we do is we go down on the beach and we throw some Spam in a cage at the end of the pier. We build a big fire and we get the pot and the water comes to a big boil. And then after a little while, we pull the pot out of the water and there's Dungeness crab in there. And if you've never had a fresh Dungeness crab, you should try it out of the water. But what's really horrible is that you take these little creatures and you go over to your big bonfire and you have your big pot and you drop them in there into the boiling water, okay? Because that's how you have to make sure that their meat is preserved, right? What happens at that moment if you're kind of a person that wants to stand there and sort of watch this happen? It is kind of interesting when you're a kid in a creepy way. But you have these crabs in the bottom and they're kind of freaking out because obviously the water's hot and it takes a minute. But you'll always have a couple of them that try to climb out the side. You'll always have and they're trying, and you can watch it happening when one of those little crabs is trying to get out of that hot water and one of his buddies reaches over with his claw and just pulls him back down. And you're, like I say, it's a morbid curiosity, I'm sure. But as he pulls him back down to his death, that can be life. That can be life. In the hot water and the sheer destruction of what's happening, of their life, of their freedom, the people around us, those closest to them, reaching up with their little claws and trying to pull you back down into that death and destruction. And that's life. And that's what happens all around us because the world wants to be embodied and enslaved to their way of doing business. They don't like what entrepreneurialism represents in direct selling. They don't like it. And so they will attack us. And so we have something here that is so special. It is an entrepreneurial explosion right now. I have never seen, in all of my years and 30 years of doing this, I have never seen, I'm going to drench myself, I have never seen more entrepreneurs looking for an opportunity than right now. Not even joking. Never have I seen more entrepreneurs looking, calling me, texting me, and I know you're doing the same because some of you are reaching out to me as well. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah.
Very good. Now that David Jumper's made okay to drink water on stage, I'm going to follow suit. I have no salmon. I just, I know it's so dehydrating. All right, so what they're looking for, I've been around some of the best direct selling entrepreneurs in the world. All going to Eric Worre conferences. I have been around the best of the best leaders. And I know that when they're looking for an opportunity, there are really 5 things that they want to know if you're going to be talking to them about your opportunity. And here's what they are looking for. They're looking for David Schmidt. Quite frankly, they're looking for David Schmidt. They are. Because they need a long-term vision. People who know what they're doing, who have devoted their life to this industry, to our sector, they need to know that the person who is steering the ship, the person who is inspiring people like myself, people like Ryan Barson and others, all of us, who are inspiring us to devote our highest and best, they need to know that he is all in. He or she, that they are all in. That's why they oftentimes want to meet them. Don't they? They always say, oh, how can I talk to your founder? That's why. Because they have everything that they've worked for their whole life, building their credibility, putting their time, putting their talent, and putting that treasure of their influence into a business. And they want to know that the horse that they're going to hitch their wagon to is all in, moving forward with a long-term vision. Why? Because they don't want to go to another direct selling company. How many of you in this room want this to be the last direct selling company that you're ever at? Let me hear you. Loudly, let me hear you. Of course, we feel the same way. So they're looking for that long-term vision, and they're looking for a person who is committed to the sector, that loves direct selling. And if you've read David's work, if you've listened to his interviews, and he talked about that moment when he had that change, that epiphany, that direct selling was what he wanted to use as a vehicle because it was the closest way he could get to take his passion, his hard work, his life-changing technology to the masses through individual people with relationships, one by one by one. And he knew, and he is committed. It was the most important thing in my initial conversation with him. Because a lot like all of you, I'm looking for that as well. We need to make sure that commitment is there. I'm going to say a sad story, and usually I don't like throw into companies under the bus or say their names out loud, but this one is just such an offensive thing, right? I can't resist. So Rodan and Fields, okay, who has recently made that terrible press release announcement that they have left the channel, that they're leaving the channel and now have left. Rodan and Fields, I sat there in CEO and president kind of environments when they were talking off camera, off stage, and you could tell they didn't like our sector. Those 2 ladies, you could tell they didn't, no matter what they said on stage. And if you come from Rodan, I'm sorry, but I listened to them, and it's like they were not all in. They wanted to be Estee Lauder, they wanted to be Clinique, they wanted to be big box retail cosmetics in the beautiful Merlin, Norman, all the big companies. They wanted to be there. They didn't want to be with us. They always had that vibe. And for me, who's been in the field for 10 years, like you building, the one thing that we know about us, what do we know? We are heat-seeking missiles for insincerity. We are heat-seeking missiles for insincerity. And when somebody is not committed to what we know it in our bones. Even if we can't put our finger on it, what is it that's making me a little uncomfortable right now with this person? You know it. When I met David Schmidt, I knew he was the real deal. The real deal. That's what people are looking for, my friends. This is what people are looking for. Committed to the sense. Is it financially stable? Have they made good business decisions? Or are they out there living an extravagant life, posting all over social, all their latest toys and it's all right to have toys. Some might consider a drone a little bit of a toy, but that's a good thing. Why? Because it isn't really. Because the end game is it's making the world a better place. I'm talking about lives that are so extravagant that they basically are just always bragging all the time. It's super braggadocious. But if you have somebody here that is financially stable, have they been in business for more than 5 to 10 years? That's a big benchmark for direct sellers. These are all differentiators for us. And is it a purpose-driven culture like we have at lifeWave? Is it a purpose-driven culture? If you have these 5 things, you can get their attention. So just be thinking about as the world is crumbling, and this in direct selling, this was an interesting comment that I got. I was talking to Stuart Johnson, who's the CEO and the founder of Direct Selling News, and he has invited David to come and deliver a keynote in September in front of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of direct selling executives. But he texted me this. Because when the announcement came about Rodan, and of course everybody's just in a dither about it, he texted this to me. This is his text to me. As we discuss the stupidity, and this is what we're going to be doing in September, talking about the executives there in Texas, as we discuss the stupidity of private equity and venture capitalists in direct selling, the stupidity with one disaster after another as they keep coming into our space and wrecking really good movements. David, this is an exact text, I can show you on my phone. David and lifeWave are the shining star for our future. David Schmidt and lifeWave are the shining star in direct selling. So when you are going home and you're thinking about what's next for you, I want you to tuck this away in your heart. And I want you to understand at lifeWave what we have here. So different, so unique, so special. So a big round of applause for David Schmidt, please. So I'm going to cut over to that little bit of business I said, because for me, for someone who loves this channel, for someone who celebrates everything that we have to offer here, I consider myself a guardian and a protector of it, and I consider myself someone here at lifeWave whose sacred trust it is to make sure that we are building and reinforcing a foundation so that you can be here for decades to come, so that your children can be here for decades to come. This is my heart, this is who I am, and this is what I do. So yes, I talk a lot about strategy, I talk a lot about tactics, I talk a lot about projects, because these are the things that are happening there that, again, I want you to go home and have tucked away and say, I am solid. I don't have to think about anything else except for building my relationships, caring people, and sharing the technology from lifeWave with others. That's all I need to think about. So for us, the portfolio management office, which is how we put our projects in, has really 5 primary, in the playing to win strategy that I launched at the beginning of this year, because you always want to have a business plan for the year, right? These 5 are very important ones, and the ones that I wanted to share with you today, because they're important. Because we are a technology company, it's very important that our infrastructure is sound, because the reality is you can say you're a technology company, but you and I know if your website is a little glitchy, if it's not ideal, it kind of smacks of a little bit, well, what are you doing with your website kind of thing. We know, and we are getting better at making improvements all the time. And on that, you just have to keep your eyes open, keep watching. Remember, we don't have to be perfect, we just have to be great. We don't have to be perfect, but we have to be great, and we are working on that greatness. So when I talk about security remediation, I mean, these are ways to make sure that all of our data around the world, everything is safe and protected, so that you can know that you can stand up in any country around the world, and that we are making the right choices, and we are doing the right things to protect your future, so that all of a sudden you're not going to turn around and have the rug pulled out from underneath you. These are important things, and that's why the global policies, I know, there are times you're going to look at changes that we do, you're going to read something, and you're going to, why are they doing that? And this is just when I would ask, you need to trust us. You need to trust 30 years of experience on this side. You need to trust hundreds and hundreds of years that are in the building in our new corporate headquarters in Utah. All of the people are there with this mindset. We know, we've been there, we know, we've taken billion-dollar companies that were a train wreck, and turn them around so that they were safeguarded, which comes into that Operation Safeguard. This means that everything that's happening right now, we are looking at every single policy, every single conversation, every piece of the comp plan, every piece straight across the board and saying, is there risk here? Are we vulnerable here? Okay, are we? Because again, you're on this lovely trip. You're having this amazing time. I know this is a very heavy conversation. I apologize. But at the core of it, you just need to stand tall and know that you are protected. And this, to me, is what I wanted to deliver in my time to speak with you. So when we take a look at compensation, okay, there's been some changes. We know we have renewal fees, we have things that are changing, but there are reasons behind them. It's not like we're just sitting around in the corporate office, what do we do today? I don't know. What do you want to do now? I don't know. What'll really cause some disruption? Yeah, let's just go ahead and throw that one out there. We'll just kind of throw that out there. Of course not. We have a list of over 100 initiatives. They are in priority. They are in priorities. Do they drive revenue? In other words, do they help you? Do they minimize expenses? Are we being good stewards of David's company and his vision? And thirdly, does it reduce risk? If the project doesn't, we say no. It has to do one of those three things. It has to do one of those three things. And the reducing risk is what we're doing. So for today, I know I'm going to have to kind of end on a heavier note here. But for today, you all know, you've been coming up to me all week and asking, we know the enrollment packs had to change. And this next part of the presentation, because I'm going to go through it really quick because I know you're just waiting for David to get up on stage. Yeah. Steve, you didn't have to agree. You should, really? I mean, no, Meredith, take more time, please. Wow. So in any case, I have these slides, and I want you to know that when we are done at 12 noon our time, which is actually Croatian time, not the boat time, as we all learned this morning. So you are going to be, if you are an SPD, all SPDs are going to be getting this presentation emailed to them. So I don't want you to worry, oh my gosh, I got to figure this out. Oh crap, I didn't bring a pen. No. You will have this in your inbox. Again, if you're an SPD, and if you're on this trip and you're not an SPD, just ask your SPD. If you don't have an SPD with you, ask Ryan, ask myself, ask Garrett, ask somebody, Claudia, ask Dr. Edward, and we'll get it to you. So the new pack structure is coming out. This is when it launches, Monday, September 30th. You have lots of time to get your head around this. So don't get in a dither, don't get your panties in a wad, everything will be just fine. Okay? You're gonna have everything you need, and then next week, actually they will be sent out to the rest of the team, so everybody globally, okay? So again, for first, because the reason we want the SPDs to have it first, they can go through the FAQs. Actually, I was just on last night with somebody who's gonna make a recording, a little bit of an onboarding recording for it, for the SPDs as well. So here's the thing about the new packs, and this is, like I said, I'm not gonna drill down to everything, it's a big one. This was the most important piece that I could give you in my few minutes remaining. Because people ask why change. People don't like change. It's just like the illustration of the little baby. Diaper full of poop, stinking up a storm, offending everybody around them, and then you go to try to get that stink off of them, and what do? That was good. They cry, they scream, they about it. And then of course, as soon as you get them freshened up, what do? They run away, wee, when it's over. Okay, so people don't like change, no matter how you slice it. But there are realities about what we have in our business right now that have got to change. Because the thing about it, with David speaking next month, with our big conference sold out in 48 hours coming up, all the things, we are not under the radar anymore. Thanks to all of you, we are soundly on the radar. Everybody knows who we are, which means the importance of us to partner with you with compliance, with how we talk about them in a public setting or online. All of that, all of this matters because we can't have our work be in vain because we are careless when it comes to, again, who? Those haters out there that want us to rank and file, that group, okay? So up here, the regulatory concerns, the rank titles are a problem, okay? And I'm not gonna spend much time on this, I promise. But putting a rank title with a pack, which means you are buying a rank, which means that I buy this, I get to get paid as that. We are probably one of the only companies that I know of, I haven't seen any, that are still doing this. This was tossed out when they shut down VEMA, and that was in what, 2015 or something? So the reality is that has been a no-no for a long time. These are things that need to go. Also, having money roll up the tree, cash, is an issue. We can have points run up all day long, that's fine, but you can't have cash rolling up. So when you look at your diamond pack and it paying more than the personal, it's not a good idea. It just has that little red flag waving at the FTC pole. And some of you may think, well, I'm not in the United States, but the headquarters, it's a US company, even though we're global. It's a US company, which means it does affect you. And then, of course, so sponsoring bonuses need to be paid to that person, and the PIB amounts, those big bonus amounts, those can be problematic also, because it has people just focusing too much on the money rather than the cycling. And we know you make money, how? How? Exactly. The points are what matter the most in direct selling. So we're looking at that. So as far as streamlining it, we're going to the 3, and again, this will be in your inbox SPD in a matter of an hour or 2, okay? And so you can drill down into all of this, and of course, we know that we're having to take away probably the 2 biggest offenses in that premium pack, the biggest pay-to-play pieces, okay, that were in that pack. They have to go. It has to have a good discount. It has to offer that highest BV we could possibly get. And we went to finance and we said, all right, to respect the comp plan, to respect the binary, what is the biggest BV amount of points that we can give them to make sure that as we take away that buying the diamond rank, all that, cash rolling up, all those things. And how does it encourage the skin in the game mindset? Because this is the thing, and whether or not, people ask me, when Steve and Gina came on the scene and all of you and their team, when they came on board, and I think I was in Japan at the time, I was with some of the leaders in APAC at the time, and everybody wants to know what they're doing. And I said, obviously it's simplicity, obviously it's leading with X39, and when people can upgrade or if they can afford to start out with a diamond pack, because it's skin in the game. I'm not putting words in their mouth here, this is what I do know too, but I think they would agree, and all of you would agree. If somebody spends $200, it's really easy for them to walk away. That's a couple $100. That's not even a half of a good pair of shoes unless you get it like 70% off, right? Okay, so $200. What's $200? When they invest over $1,500, you have their undivided attention for a certain amount of time. Would you all agree with that? Yeah. Okay, so it is a skin in the game pack. So if you want to make sure that you have this finite amount of time that you are investing to your people, that you are investing into your teams, okay, if you can get them to step up to that pack, you know that that person should have your undivided attention unless they've just got money to burn. But even those that have money to burn, as we know, they can be some of the most frugal people on the planet. And when they spend that money, they definitely want an ROI. They definitely want that return on investment, don't they? They want to see it. So again, you've got their attention. So the following slides, again, I'm going to go through them fast because you're going to have them. We're here for a couple more days on the ship. You have questions, we can talk. There'll be more coming. But just to let you know the new pack structure itself, the starter pack will stay the same. And yes, you're welcome to take photos if you want. But again, you're going to have it in your inbox. It'll probably look a lot nicer. But the current silver is going to be transitioning to what we're going to call core. Thank you to the Field Advisory Board for the recommendation. So we went from basic, it's now core. So we have core, the advanced pack, and the premium pack. So we're really going to that good, better, best, discounting the people that obviously we have to offer a freebie with no product because that's just the law in many countries. So core, advanced, and premium is what we're going to be doing. So these 2 packs are going to be continued. When? When did I say? September 30th. So again, nobody go, because you need to get relaxed because David's about to come up here. And I need your brains clear and happy about this, okay? So we know that this is happening. And then there are some changes on what this means on how, because another piece of the compensation plan, another piece of the packs that was a problem was the fact that you required silver legs, and you could buy those legs with packs. This is an issue. This is an issue. So instead, you're going to see us transitioning to where you can look at what we call lifetime, the lifetime value. So when you look on that, that means that at some point they have these points, and then of course they have to be active, as you know. So again, this is not a compensation plan training. We certainly could, but we're not going to. Okay, so the starter pack, again, this is no change. The starter pack will stay the same, just as it always has. and you're going to see the discontinuation bronze, and we ran all these numbers, y'all. There's very, very few. I mean, as far as a percentage, like less than 5%. It's a very abysmal number. People don't buy them hardly ever. If you drive your business with them, then we just need to have you step up a little bit and talk to your upline about how to do that. But the reality is it isn't there. So the core pack though, the silver and the new, you're gonna see here, this playing the game thing with the numbers of 29, 99, 95, 92, 93, it's like just call it what it is. It makes it a lot easier, okay? And then here you have, remember, you have your premium, your X39, which of course you want to lead with, and then you have, all the others besides, well, X39, X49, right? So what we're doing is we're trying to make it, the PIB is gonna come down a little bit, but your volume is going up. Because again, if that new person coming in is getting some cash in their pocket, how quick are they gonna spend that extra $15? At Starbucks? On one drive-through. But how much more will they benefit from the cycles? Cycle new, cycle early, cycle young. This will be the best opportunity for people. Again, this is the intention. How do we get them cycling? How do we get them engaged in our business? And growing and making money quickly. The faster they cycle, the longer they stay. Would you agree? Yes. The faster they cycle, the longer they will stay. So this just kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like. We've tried to increase BV across the board. So when you move up into what's coming up to the advanced, again, you're seeing a slight price increase, but you're seeing there the BV. Yes, I know the PIB's impacted, but look what you're seeing there, because the PIB is a one and done. It's a one-time thing. The cycles, we want them cycling and cycling and cycling. So this will give you a little bit of idea. And of course, this was really confusing to me when I first got here. It's like, what was this 5 and this 1 and this extra pack of something? I got 5 X39s and a Alavita, which is great. Hey, I use it every night. I'm not knocking Alavita. I think it has done amazing things for my skin. But the reality is, it's for a brand new person getting started, it can be a little bit of a distraction. So we're just going, it's 6 or 12. It's 6 of your X39, and it will default to X39. It defaults to X39 because that's the good lead. That's our lead. That's our flagship. It's our banner product. Okay, so then we move up to the platinum pack. That's going to be discontinued. Now, if you're worried, and again, I'm wrapping this up in 2 minutes. And so if you're concerned, but what if I'm upgrading? Everything is going to continue as it was as far as if you're on a path. There was really nowhere to go to upgrade from a platinum to this one, so that is one thing that you'll have to obviously get your head around, but you have 6 weeks to do it. And I know you're all smart people or you wouldn't be here, so I know you'll figure that out. So the new premium pack, which is, this is the big daddy. This is the one for people that are committed, the ones you want to put your time into because you know they're here and they need business. And so take a look at that upgrade in the volume. Again, and this was a conversation, fine, so what can we give them? And then we modeled it, and we modeled it, and we modeled it to make sure that the comp plan was all set, that we were all good, there was nothing to be concerned about. And so that increase in volume still has the 2-month trickle. You buy that front, you had 2 months to trickle. You can kind of see the numbers, but again, you're gonna have all of this. So again, if you're snapping pictures or videos, it's all fine. You're gonna have all of this in your inbox to kind of take a look at it, and what does it mean? So basically, this is just wrapping it up as I wrap up my segment here. You're going to be going to core, and again, it's very, very simple. None of those odd numbers. It's 6 and 12. It's 20 and 40. It's leading with X39. Super clean. No extra sleeves. It's super clean. And so as we look at the qualifications for managers and directors, here are some changes you're going to take a look at. Again, nothing is hidden from you. It's all going to be in your inbox in a short matter of minutes, right? And then we can talk. 2 more days left on the trip, we'll talk. And so also for directors, a couple things that you'll need to take note of. What this does, my friends, what this does, it eliminates the risk in the business for criticism from outside agencies. Many of you noticed Korea had a different comp plan when we launched. Why? Because our comp plan couldn't even pass the sniff test in Korea. It doesn't pass the sniff test in a number of countries. We have to be bulletproof. Rock solid. Why? Because your futures hang in the balance. David's precious vision hangs in the balance of us safeguarding this company. So I thank you. I thank you.